Welcome to the Tom Bernard Podcast with the family with
co-host Catherine Brandt,
Alex Brandt Bernard Rasmussen,
Andy Brandt Bernard,
and Kristen Burt.
This is my life, by the way,
That's a
Kristen. This is
Monday.
how our life always goes.
It kind of does.
I'll be late, I'll be on time, I'll be this, I'll be that, beep. You know what I'm saying.
That's what happens when you have a group of people.
So should I read this now, Andy?
if you'd like.
Yeah, there are a lot of boomers that want to listen to this show.
Boomers.
There are a lot of boomers who want to listen to this show, but they have no idea how to download a podcast.
Hey, boomers, you're embarrassing all boomers.
Okay, boomer.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Tom.
Well, wait a minute. If this guy can't figure out how to listen to the podcast, then why are we saying it on the podcast?
Because I'm doing it for all these people, just to figure out.
Word of mouth will get out?
Yeah, word of mouth, exactly.
Okay.
Hey, Tom, for us boomers that just don't know how to or are too embarrassed to ask how to stream a podcast, then use your car radio or one of those rechargeable speakers to tune in from our phone. Could you ask Andy to make a quick how-to video? I did ask Andy that, and Andy's response was you can't possibly do that because they're all different.
Yes, every car is different. Every speaker is different. It's going to be, I could have to put out like 50,000 different ones. The easiest way would be to look up on YouTube your model of car, look up how to connect Android Auto or Bluetooth or whatever, and it should tell
Apple,
you.
whatever you have.
Yeah, because every car, the connecting to Bluetooth situation is going to be different.
Why would they have done that? All radios are the same.
Well, I mean, if you turn on Bluetooth, it should connect to whatever your
Not
speakers
necessarily,
are.
because you might have to put your car in pairing mode, or your car might give you a pin.
Yeah, like, Mom, you can't figure
That's
out
true.
your car speaker.
There you go.
Yeah, it worked forever, and now it doesn't work.
Yeah, and just all of a sudden stopped working. Yeah,
That is
I don't.
true.
Every car is very slightly different, and every Bluetooth speaker is very slightly different. The best thing to do, look at the manual. Honestly, the manual should tell
That's
you.
true.
And if you
So-
don't like manuals, then YouTube should have you covered.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just tell them to hop on YouTube and what do you just put in how to download.
Well, not download, how to sync your
yeah.
phone
Connect
with your.
yeah,
Because then
connect
you would just
Bluetooth
go
audio.
to. Because then you would just go to either like the podcast app if you have an iPhone, or you could go to Spotify or wherever you listen to the podcast, and then it will play.
Should
Yeah.
play.
Because, it's getting important because our numbers are getting bigger and bigger every week, and we're getting to that point where if we, continue on this path, it's going to do very, very well, and I'd like everybody to listen to it.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Figure it out.
Why didn't they come to an understanding? Why don't we just do this one way like we did radios, and it'll be great?
My advice is find yourself a 15, 16-year-old person.
Yeah, that's true.
Or that. They should probably be able to
And
figure
ask
it out.
them,
Yeah.
Or
and they
even
can figure it out for
Anybody
you.
35 and under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be fine.
Very true. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So, what are you doing?
Me or the waffles that are now appearing behind Alex?
Oh, there are waffles behind Alex?
Yep. She's got waffles.
Oh, yeah, look at that. She's got waffles
Fawn
behind
waffle
Alex.
day.
It's absolutely
Fawn-made
true.
waffles for everybody.
Oh, green waffles.
Green waffles.
They have tiny chocolate chip cookies in them and chocolate chips, and they have little gingerbread.
Is the green
in them.
mold, or what is it?
No, she put like green. We have like natural food coloring, and Sage said he wanted them green.
Okay, well, there we have
She
them.
made them
Why
green.
And they
Oh,
are
there you
Christmas
are.
in almost July.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
Christmas in almost July.
Tomorrow.
Well, we only have one waffle iron, and it's a gingerbread man waffle iron.
Oh.
So that's just what happens. When we
That
make
explains it all. No question.
If you
about it.
don't like the gingerbread man, if you're like, I hate this, just turn it
There
around.
you go. Just don't look at it. That's what we tell Ethan. It's like he doesn't want something on his plate. He feels the need to remove it from his presence. He can't just not eat it.
Yeah, like just don't touch it.
Kristen, I gotta complain about national broadcasting to you for 1 second before we start, okay?
Oh dear. Great.
I have been a Minnesota Twins fan since I was 9 years old, okay? The first year they came to town, I became a fan of the Minnesota Twins. Now, if you want to watch Twins on television, you can go to the MLB channel for Monday through Thursday. But then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, one day you have to go to Apple. Then the next day you have to go to ESPN. And then the third day you have to go to four different sources to watch the Twins.
Yeah, they just added the ESPN day.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing until recently. Correct.
Yeah.
So now it's 4 instead of 3. You have to have 4.
Unfortunately, live sports is the most profitable
Yep.
thing on TV right now. And not only did the MLB realize this, but streamers also realized this, that making a deal individually is profitable for everyone.
So
Yep.
annoying.
For
Does that-
now, until everyone stops watching.
Well, yeah, I mean, we finally figured out we needed the 3, and then ESPN is supposedly on the Disney Channel, but it
If you
doesn't.
get the bundle.
yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
not
Well,
on Disney.
oh,
Yeah.
I
You
just
have to get the ESPN bundle as a part of your Disney Plus
so now you have to add the bundle. It's ridiculous.
so from 1960 till about 2023, I could watch every game on television for free. I could listen to every game on the radio at WCCO radio for free. Now, I don't care if you're walking down the street, somebody's going to start charging you for each step you take.
Well, everything's become a subscription model, and
Yep.
they took it from the streamers, and now it's moving into if you want to utilize certain features of your new car, they're asking for a subscription for like remote start and things like that, which is insane.
I
Yep.
know.
I
That
remember
you need that.
one of them had a subscription for this heated seats.
What?
It was like BMW or something like that. You had to pay monthly, or else they'd turn off your ability to turn
Really?
the heated seats on.
What
that caused a
filth?
lot of backlash.
Well, I mean, you pay when you buy a car for added features, right?
Yes, but if the heated seats are in the car already, why are you paying more just to be able to turn them on?
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Especially if you
Impulsive.
outright own the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
is the other thing. You outright own this car. Let's say you don't even have, any type of monthly payment for it.
Yeah, here we
It's
go.
yours.
It's BMW's heated seats subscription. Yep.
That's
First announced in
outrageous.
2020, et cetera,
Unbelievable.
et cetera. And yes, heated seats that were already installed would have been turned off if you stopped paying your subscription. But they dropped it immediately. But the fact that they thought it was a good idea to begin with is
Yeah.
Well,
very it's like
you
something
pay-
an
boardroom.
alien would come up with.
Yeah, you pay so much money for a luxury car, and then they're going to start acting like.
I was going
I
to say that
know.
would just
That?
make people not buy BMWs. They'd just be like, no, they nickel and dime you on everything.
Why? And I
And
think
it's
people
too easy to
are.
go to Mercedes or
Yeah.
Lexus or somewhere
Yeah.
else.
Or
and
anywhere
Yeah.
else, right?
Yep.
Like, what?
It
That's
just
so
amazes me.
sickening.
I mean, it just is sickening. What was it? 3,000 years ago that somebody said the love of money is the root of all evil.
Well, it was the Bible, so whenever.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
so I mean, it
It
was
was
the
a few
Bible,
thousand
so it
years
was a
ago.
few years
Well,
ago.
and Jeff Bezos threw himself a $50 million wedding in Venice
I
this
know.
weekend.
Oh,
so-
God. Both of those people, by the way, looking at him and her, the biggest fraudy looking people I've ever seen.
Can I give you the best quote that ever came out of this wedding? Let me
Yes.
get it, because I purposely
Yes.
copied it, because I was like, I have to actually say this. Megyn Kelly says Jeff Bezos looks like a walking penis at his wedding to Lauren Sanchez.
He did.
Right.
He was a penis head.
I know, and she
Very
looks
true.
like she's AI. Like, she doesn't
Oh,
look like a
she
real
doesn't.
Yeah,
person.
she doesn't,
She doesn't
look
look real.
at all.
Yeah,
And her wardrobe choices are very bad.
Oh,
They're
I
just
don't know.
bad. I'm sorry.
I don't know anything about.
it's crazy that she had a custom Dolce & Gabbana wedding dress, and I was like, that's what the design that came up, they came up with. 'Cause I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
I know she was like inspired by Sophia Loren and everything else, but I'm like, come on, you could have put something prettier on her.
Yeah.
No, everything was just
custom.
so harsh and just so vulgar. Really, everything looked vulgar to me.
Vulgar, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I wonder if some of the celebrities, knowing the backlash, are they embarrassed that they went to the wedding? I mean,
Yeah,
the
I bet.
Kardashians probably don't care.
No.
But, you look at
Kardashians
like an
don't care
Orlando Bloom or a Leonardo DiCaprio, Sydney Sweeney. You're like, why were you really there?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
weird.
photo ops, I'm sure. Get a little
Yes,
attention.
Like, just seems really, really strange. And Eva Longoria, who is like besties with Jeff and Lauren, didn't show up, and I have a feeling she thought probably just going to make up a work excuse and be like, I
Right.
can't come, because all of a sudden they photographed her on the beach in Spain, and I was like, yeah,
Uh-oh.
she knew. She knew this was going to be a PR disaster, and you don't want to be in on that.
Well, what I'd like to know, so if I've got billions of dollars, billions and billions and billions of dollars, and he started in the United States, why not have a United States wedding and give back to
Showing off his money.
somebody? Well, he could still spend $1 zillion in California or in New York. There's a lot of beautiful places to get married in the United States of America. You don't need to go overseas. And then also, all of these celebrities are so climate change, climate change, climate change. Well, they all took their private jets over there,
yeah,
I'm pretty
they do.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
So why
Yeah.
not
And on
just have
top
it
of-
in the United States and make that a statement about how, oh, we're just going to try to, keep a cap on climate change and we want to give back to the people
'Cause I'm too
in the
important
United
for that.
States.
And they're trying to make her into like this big philanthropic kind of,
Oh, God.
figurehead. And the other thing I also wonder, this was his second marriage. I believe it was her third, or at least like her third major relationship. And well, this is the other thing. They started as an affair. So a big splashy wedding that's very, very public. In Venice, you have to put the wedding on display because you can't really hide the wedding. If you're traveling by, everyone has to travel by boat and everything
Right.
else. You would think if they really wanted a private wedding, you would have held it. I mean, they've at their home in Maui, which no one would have seen because it's so secluded.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be the kind that wants to hide anything. But
Right.
yeah, it would have been a lot less obnoxious if they would have even just had it in the United States.
I'll tell you, $50 million to Maui after the Lahaina fire, I think would have been very, very welcome.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
100% correct. You could have helped someone. No, I'm the biggest thing in the world. What amazes me is 46 years ago, I went to my attorney's office, and there was this beautiful young woman I had never met sitting behind the desk. And so
Who could she be?
I don't know. We're going to have to
Mysterious.
figure it out.
Woo!
But I went back a couple more times, and finally, I think this young lady asked if she could interview me for her college paper.
I did. My
Yep.
journalism paper.
It was you?
It was you.
What a shocker.
I still am of the mind like I was when I was a little kid because my parents got divorced, and I promised myself I would never go through that. You pick somebody, and you be loyal and do this, that, and the other thing. But I don't know. My goal was to have a wife and a family and grandkids, and it all worked out beautifully, except for the one thing that didn't work out beautifully is that Nana gets no sleep because the kids sleep over all the time, and they all want to sleep with her, and they move
Okay.
all
It
night
happened
long.
like one time in the last
One?
two
It's
weeks,
every
3
time.
weeks.
It's every time, which is, I think it's hilarious. But I will tell you this.
You're not the one with
both-
feet in your face.
Both Ethan is about to turn 4 in a couple of months, a few months, I guess.
5 months, not
And
even.
then Sagey's 7 years old. And both of them, when they sit by me, lean up against me, and I put my arm around them. I just love the
They are
fact
cuddly
that
kids.
my grandkids love their bop bop. I love that. It's the great. Those are the things that matter to me, not your $50 million wedding. I would rather have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old really like me.
Yeah, though, I mean, I can't even imagine having that kind of money. I can't.
I suppose
and
not.
it has to color every single thing that you do
Yeah,
and think
They had a
about
foam
yourself
party.
and other people. Right?
It's
Because they
kinda
don't
sad.
live in the real world at all.
No, they're living in this weird little bubble
Yeah.
that, I mean, dropping $1 million is like dropping $1,000.
Right,
Probably dropping
right.
100 to some people. That's
Yep.
that's the thing. And I mean, just the stuff that they do. They had like a foam party the week leading up. I'm like, who has a foam party unless you're in Ibiza at a niclub in 1995?
Yeah, and you're
I was
20.
going to say, like, what?
Yeah.
At their
Foam party.
age? How embarrassing.
They really
Right,
did.
I know. It's like I can't think about like having a
So
foam party. I'm
gross.
like, oh, it's so unsanitary too. The foam party is like,
Ew. Gross.
What is a foam party? I don't even know what that is.
it is literally what you think. They pump out foam and you go in like your bathing suit or whatever and you dance and it's like, house music and
Yeah,
you
get
kind of
drunk
rub and grind up all against each other.
Yeah.
How do you live in California with these
And
people?
for women, it's a breeding ground for lots of bacteria for all of
yeah.
your delicate
Oh,
parts.
Gross.
It really
That's
is.
You could see that.
I wonder where they were registered. Pottery Barn? What do you think?
Yeah.
They actually said no gifts, that they were donating to Venetian charities, like in their honor.
see,
and
here
if they
you
wanted
go
to
again.
contribute to the charities, they could.
Yeah, they could have contributed to the victims of the North Carolina hurricane. They could have donated
LA
to
wildfires,
LA
Lahaina, if
yeah.
they did it in Maui.
Lots
because
of
they've got
need here in the States, please. Thank you.
Huge. They have a huge estate in Maui. Huge.
Okay, I got to ask around the table here because I just thought of something.
Gross people.
Being with the same person my whole life married and having children and grandchildren, all the rest of that. I have a friend. Well, he's an acquaintance more than a friend. He's not really a friend. He's an acquaintance. And see if you guys can top this, because you probably can in Hollywood anyway. My acquaintance has been married 7 times.
Oh.
Don't you think you would figure it out sooner or later that it's not for you?
You would think.
I mean, wouldn't you think?
Well, maybe they just like getting married.
I was going to
maybe
say,
like
some
getting
people
married.
like
Some people
getting
just
married.
love weddings. They love putting together weddings and being in weddings, and I don't know.
7
I
times.
love
I like
weddings,
going to
but
weddings. I don't want to throw a wedding.
I was going to say, I
No.
love attending weddings. And I actually really, really loved putting on my wedding, but I wouldn't
Do you want to do it 7 times?
I don't want to do it again,
Well, and
because I don't want to leave Dan to have a wedding. Like, what? That's weird.
I told Bill, I'm like, I am married once in my lifetime. Like, God forbid
that's
anything
plenty.
happens, it's going to be me and cats for the rest of my
Yep.
life.
You're going to be a
That's
cat
it.
lady?
I'm going to be a crazy cat lady and just embrace it. But this is my one and only marriage. And Bill, you are the chosen one.
There you go.
Nice.
I should mention before we move on that my acquaintance, the longest he was ever married was 3 years, and the shortest he was ever married was 1 day.
Oh, boy.
The
One
next day
day.
after they got married, he left her and they got
You
divorced.
got to examine your motivations for getting
Yeah.
married.
I think it's expensive too. Like,
Oh,
divorce
yeah.
is expensive.
Yep.
And weddings are expensive,
Yep.
generally
Yeah.
speaking. Not $50 million usually, but
No,
I know,
not
right?
usually. Not usually. Who was it that Megan Kelly said he looked like a penis head? Is that what
Megan Kelly. And I was like, look at that. Megan Kelly and I agree on something.
Wow.
I think that's hilarious. I really do.
Yeah, I think the whole thing was just distasteful and gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially at a very
Enjoy.
weird time in our country in particular, where a lot of people are really struggling just
Right.
to pay for grocery bills, and
Yeah.
the opulence just doesn't really. The optics of it, not great.
No.
Well,
not
the
great.
world's a very weird place right now. It just is. It's the weirdest I've ever remember it being.
Yeah, it feels uncomfortable, you know.
Yes,
and I
absolutely.
find, you know, I go out with friends, and the topic always comes up at a certain point. Like, nobody wants to talk about like what's happening in the world, but I think everyone's feeling the weight of what's happening in the world, and so you just need to like do a little trauma dump and then move on.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
One of my favorite things happened today. I ran to Byerly's. You remember Byerly's in Lunds, don't you?
I do. I love
They're
Byerly's.
It's a
wonderful.
great grocery store.
So I back out of my parking spot and I'm going to pull up to the exit. There are 2 cars at the exit, one waiting to exit and one behind him. I pull up, right? But it's at an angle where I can't go around him, like pull behind him. While we were waiting for them to exit, 3 more cars pulled up behind them and not one of them let me in.
I just have to
Is
start
that
barreling
unbelievable?
through.
I mean, do you not consider, because they know I was there, they looked and saw I was there, they knew I was there long before they would, but
a
they wouldn't even
dog-eat-dog
think.
world.
They wouldn't even think of letting me in.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I gave them the
There's not
finger.
a lot
I
of
honked my
human
horn and gave them
kindness.
all the finger. So that was good.
oh dear.
Oh,
I
did they
enjoyed
enjoy
that.
it?
What, me giving them the finger? Didn't
Yeah,
look
did
like
they
they
like
it? They
enjoyed
don't
it too
care.
much.
I had to teach my kids what that meant the other day.
Oh, I did?
Uh-oh. Why?
Because Fawn did it to Sage,
Oh.
but she didn't know what it meant because she said that
There
one
you
of,
go.
one of her friends told her that it was just like a mean thing to do to someone. You know?
Yes.
So like
Yeah.
he was bugging her and then she did it to him and I was like, Fawn. And she's like, what? And I was like, do you understand what that is? And she was like, no, blah, blah, blah. Just told me that it was like mean. And I was like, oh, it's like
Well, it is,
kind of
but-
like go to hell or like something
Yeah.
like that. And
No,
she was
not
like,
quite go to
and then
hell.
she cried and like ran up to her room.
Oh.
And I was just like,
So
and
sensitive.
I constantly tell
Poor
them
Fonny.
to not, because with all like the Gen Z slang and stuff, I'm like,
Oh,
do
God.
not say or do things that you don't know what they mean.
Yeah.
I'm like, even if somebody tells you, oh, it's not that bad, or oh, it just means this, I'm like, don't do it if you really truly don't understand what it is.
Yeah, 'cause you never know.
You never know.
Yeah, and there's some words that we put away that are coming back, and I'm always like, oh gosh, like I don't want this to come back into the lexicon.
Yeah.
I know. And the other day we were in the car and she's like, oh, my nose itches like a bitch. And I was like, what? And she was like, what? And I said, and she was like, and I was like, Fawn, what did you say? She's like, I just said that my nose itches like a bitch. And I was like, do you know what that word means? She was like, no.
All those older dancer girls that she's
No,
around.
she had no idea what it meant. She was just rhyming with itch.
Oh.
She had no clue.
Oh, I bet she'd heard
No,
it.
she
Yeah,
had
that's
no.
like when Robbie Link said that she really said duck.
Yeah.
No, because when I was like, fun, she was like, what? Like she
Oh, I know she probably
clearly
didn't know
had
what it
no
meant.
idea.
Oh, okay.
And her friend was in the car with her, and she was like, huh? And I was like, what are you doing? And she was like, what do you mean? She had no idea. Because that's a word that, like, Dan swears. He never says that.
No.
You say it.
Yeah, you do.
What?
B-I-T-C-H.
B-I-C-H?
Yeah.
No, it's
But-
B-I-C-H was the deal on the KQ Morning Show. A
But,
guy
like-
got pulled over by a cop. He goes, yeah, I ain't doing a damn thing you tell me to do. Bitch. B-I-C-H.
But anyway, that's not a word that she, like, hears. She knows,
Yeah.
like, certain bad words. Because she'll be like, somebody said whatever in, like, a song or something, you know? And I'm like, I know. But she didn't know that that was a bad word.
I said the word doozy the other day, and somebody says,
Thought it was
that's a
douchey.
word you don't hear anymore.
No.
I'm bringing them all back.
Bring them all back, doozy. It's a doozy. Doesn't it have to do
I
with
always
the
say
deuce coupe or
bananas. I'm always
something?
like, that's bananas.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
say
that's
stuff like
bananas.
good gracious and, like, holy cats and stuff like that. all the
Holy
time.
cats. Yes, definitely.
I do have holy cats. I've got 2 of them.
There you go.
Yeah, you do.
It is a wonderful thing. Kath and I watched, only have one more episode of Full Swing left to watch this year,
Oh,
the
yeah.
third season.
Oh.
It's
yeah,
a really good
finally
show.
finishing this series.
So so you're in season 3 at this point.
Yep, we've
There's
Okay,
finishing
one
up
episode.
season 3.
One
It's
episode to go.
delightful.
We really, really like it. And what the other one, Sticks is good.
Stick
That
on
really
Apple
good. Stick is
TV
really
Plus.
Yep, that's
Really good.
good. A lot of new
That's
stuff that's
fun.
good, I think.
And I like the fact that it's a short show. I don't think it would be a good hour-long show.
No, probably not.
No, it's kind of fun when they're honestly, I always like look at the running time. I'm like, oh, look at that. It's a delightful 33 minutes.
Yeah, because if
Because
you
you can
watch
get a
an
lot
hour
done.
show and then a half-hour show, that's like enough TV most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
pointed out on, because I know you got to go in about 30 seconds, but they pointed out on one of the shows, and I can't remember the guy's name. I can see him, but I can't remember his name. He's well known, but not really well known, so some people would know who he is. They revealed on Full Swing, there's a guy that can hit his drives over 400 yards. What is that?
All you got to do is drive and putt. You're good.
I mean, 400 yards.
That's outrageous.
How is that even possible?
I don't know. The new equipment these days, training,
I guess.
conditioning.
Probably a little bit of both because now golfers do conditioning and
Yeah,
really
they
do,
have
yeah.
technology with the
Yep.
equipment. So if you've got someone with the natural talent who's conditioning and then has great equipment,
Yep.
Yeah.
it'd be the trifecta.
All right. Any breaking news as you go out the door?
The only breaking news, I think that it's a kind of a little bit of a sleepy 4th of July week, but they are starting to deliberate the jury in the Diddy trial beginning today. So
Oh,
we might hear something, maybe not, but I have a feeling the jurors would probably like to wrap up before the 4th of July holiday. So
3 more days.
see.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I heard
yeah,
that
we'll see what happens.
Diddy's attorney was just like, "Hey, I don't know what the big deal is. I mean, the guy likes to have a lot of wild sex, and these people all were in on it." And he also said that the woman that started this whole thing,
Classy.
that I guess she testified that she actually loves him and loves him still.
That's not a good thing
Does
to
that
testify.
sound like somebody that,
Yeah.
this
I
is just
think
all
it's
a
the
money grab? I wonder if that's going to work.
I think that there's a little bit of probably a lot of trauma response too, because a lot of
Yeah.
people oftentimes when they're abused feel like they love their abuser.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of that going on because she clearly was abused. There's photographs of it. There's videos of it.
Right.
No question.
And I think at times, and she admitted herself, at times I went along with some of these freak offs because I loved him. But it got to a point where, I mean, she was asked to perform sexual acts when she would have like a month-long urinary tract infection.
Oh, God.
And any woman who knows what that is like knows how dangerous that is to your overall well-being.
Yeah, you can go septic.
You go septic, exactly. And he was asking her to perform that. That to me is not an act of love. So
Well, yeah.
I just think that there's a lot of everything going on, and it's becomes very confusing when you're in a situation where you like love someone, but they're also abusing you, and you don't know where that line is anymore.
I just wonder what the jury's going to think.
I'd be very curious how they perceive it, because out here, I'm just
Yep.
like, this is so gross and disgusting,
Right.
and such an abusive power.
Right.
That I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they heard in the actual courtroom.
Yep.
The great thing about my life is I have actual proof that I've never pushed my wife to the ground and started kicking her, because I'm still alive. And I don't think I would be had I done that.
Yeah.
I don't think that would have gone over real big at our house.
You wouldn't see it coming either.
And you wouldn't see it coming.
I
Great.
do a long
No, even if
burn.
Dan like jokingly is like, make me a sandwich, I'm like, get away from me.
Yeah.
Make your own damn
Yeah, I'm
sandwich.
like, what?
Look at me.
All right, Kristen, we will talk to you tomorrow.
Me a sandwich.
You going to be with us all week this week?
Yeah, I am
Wonderful.
here all week.
Magnificent. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Bye.
guys.
Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We will take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes. Continue the show right after this. From Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. What's up, Pally?
Oh, not much. Doing my usual thing of telling people they shouldn't be texting and driving. In Minnesota, you can't have your phone in your hands. You can use, hands-free, but you can't have your phone in your hands for whatever reason. And that's why they made the law the way they did, so that police officers could see a phone in your hand and you got no excuse for why you got it there.
Do people know that that's the law?
I hope so. I mean, they used to follow it, and then kind of COVID kind of made people forget, and now it's like a freewheeling world out there with cell phones.
Let's say you get pulled over because you do have a phone in your hand and you're not watching where you're going. You got to be in pretty big trouble then, I would guess.
Well, the first one's not as bad. It's the multiple ones, the problem. And once people start stacking them up, then they have a big problem. And then what we're doing in car accidents is we've started bringing motions for punitive damages, because I'm trying to use the civil law any way we can to stop this, because it needs to stop.
Whenever I'd had any problems in my life, who was that I called again? It was like an MB something like that.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
Let's talk about my bank. That, of course, being North American Banking Company. Look, it's easy to feel like just another account number at the big national banks, but that's not how it works with my friends at North American Banking Company. Whether you're visiting their locations in Roseville, 50th and France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, or Maple Grove, you'll always find real people you know by name and actually care about your finances, not some AI chatbot. They also offer all the modern conveniences you expect, like online and mobile banking, but with a personal touch that only a community bank can offer. So why settle for less when you can bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Visit nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. What do you think of that action?
I have 2 orders of business.
Well, two orders of business. Here we
Ooh,
go.
sounds
2 orders of
serious.
business. Neither of them are all that serious. One of them's kind of serious. I have a changing table that I am trying to get rid of. And it's ridiculous. I've posted it on
surprised.
Marketplace for free. I've tried to donate it to like multiple different places that like furnish people's homes. I have like posted it on baby thing Facebook groups. No one will take it.
We got our changing table on Facebook. We picked it up for free. We repainted it.
$0.
We've been
It's
using
in-
it for years.
It's in fantastic condition. It's an expandable changing table, so there's like a leaf that pops out from the bottom, so you can change the baby not sideways, but like
Straight on.
straight on.
I kind of prefer sideways.
I did not, and this was like amazing. Anyway, if anybody has any idea of somewhere that I could donate this thing, because it's in perfect condition, and Dan's like, if we don't get rid of it by the end of the week, I'm just going to throw it in the garbage.
That's
Because
a waste.
It is, but like no one else will take it, and it's just been sitting in our garage, and I've been trying to get rid of it for like a month and a half.
Why don't you take it to the Goodwill instead of
Goodwill
throwing it
doesn't
away?
take it. They don't
They
take baby
don't? They
items.
don't
take anything
no.
baby.
What's that one in Plymouth?
Really?
Or Golden
ARC
Valley?
doesn't take baby items. A lot of
Really?
places don't take
No.
any baby items.
You know, we've given away all of our baby stuff or put it in like a use again bin or something because places like that won't take
And
it.
then there are places that take baby items
How about a
like,
women's shelter?
diapers and blah, blah, blah. I just emailed a women's shelter called Haven Housing, and they help women with housing and stuff after, like, that are dealing with like addiction or homelessness and stuff like that. And so
Okay,
I just
there you
asked
go.
them, but I asked like
you
this
ask
place
Katya?
called Caitlin's Closet. I asked,
Katya,
I don't know,
Oh, you could text her.
text her, see if she needs it.
She needs it. She needs it. There you go.
probably not, but I'll text her.
There
I'm
you
assuming
go.
she's due like today, so I'm assuming she has a
She
changing
doesn't have a changing
table.
table by now. She's in
Yeah.
trouble.
So if anybody, I was like, maybe I'll ask on the podcast, and maybe someone will know who would. It has to be fastened to like a dresser or something like that. But it's really, really nice. I think it's from Pottery Barn. I got it on Facebook, and it has like there's the pad and there's a removable cover to wash it. It's in really good shape. And I'm just like, it would just be such a waste to throw away. But like, I'm not just going to keep on holding on to it because no one will take it.
That's so weird.
By Friday, if it's not gone, we are just going to throw it in the garbage because what else? I've tried so many places.
Huh.
But I don't
Okay.
want to do that. So if anybody knows, let me know, please, and thank you. Or tell Andy on the chat or something.
Yes, if you're in the chat room, I will read it.
Yeah, that would be great. Also, did you guys have to take shelter on Saturday night?
No.
We don't know.
No, we didn't have
I
to.
mean,
no.
Well,
we
no.
heard a lot of lightning and thunder and things.
Well, you didn't hear, your phones didn't go off.
Our phones did not go off.
But fun fact, Andy, his county had the worst of everything,
Yeah.
and their phones did not have any sort of alarm.
That's weird.
Well, Melissa's did, but it didn't make sound.
Well,
we
that's-
think because Do Not Disturb muted it, which it shouldn't be able to do.
It shouldn't do that because,
but-
like iPhones, no matter what your settings
well, we
are,
didn't get one of those like from the service provider, like one of those pop-up things that makes the weather alert sound. You know the one. Like
Yeah.
the this is a test of the emergency
Yeah, that
broadcast system sound.
blasting-
We didn't get any of those.
Well, no, nobody gets those on their phone. Like
we did.
your
We do. Oh, I've gotten them before.
I've gotten them before. Yeah, with the big blasting
on your phone.
sound.
No, the blasting sound, like in the middle of the night. Here's what happened to anybody that has an iPhone and needed to like shelter in place. You guys just must. We had sirens going off and everything.
Oh, okay.
Because Eden Prairie, Prior Lake, Savage had a tornado that didn't touch down, but they had everybody shelter in place. So at like 12:40 in the morning, my phone, which was on Do Not Disturb and is always on silent, and Dan's phone, which is on Do Not Disturb every single night, my watch, all had like a soul-shakingly loud siren going off, where anybody that has an iPhone knows this sound. It's so like we all, because Sage was with us, and we all just like sat up really quick and we're like, what? And Sage went, what's happening? And we were like, oh, there's a tornado warning and we have to go to the basement. And I got Fawn and we got the dogs and we all sat in the bathroom. It was great. It was a great time. We were in there for like, I think 30, 40 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And then we went upstairs and the kids wanted to sleep in our bed. So then Dan went in Sage's bed because he was like, there's no room
No.
for me anymore. And I don't mind kid limbs smacking me in the face. I can sleep
do.
through it, so it doesn't bother me at all. Anyway, and so I texted Mrs. Andy and I was like, wow, you're like, you guys got the brunt of it. Are you okay? He's like, I slept through the whole thing. Like they had
Had
a
no
tornado
idea.
5 miles from their house and
Yeah.
their phones
Two of
didn't
them in Waconia.
have
Yep.
That's crazy.
any sort of alarm.
Yeah, but I mean, like I told Alex, we had a plastic grocery bag, you know, those like cheap, flimsy plastic bags,
Yeah.
so they weigh literally nothing. Outside of our front door, we put it on like this little shelf thing we have. It did not move. So
Well, yeah, I mean-
we must have gotten literally no wind, despite there being tornadoes a few miles away.
Well,
Yeah,
in
like-
Wayzata, there's some traffic lights that are still blinking, and I know some places lost power.
Yeah, there's a bunch of
And
traffic
that was-
lights that are.
I mean, that's right there.
Yep.
We didn't
Yeah,
get
but
any
that's
sort of warning.
But that could but I mean, you just must not have had like
I don't.
high enough winds to
Yeah.
like cause
It reminds
harm
me
to
when
you.
We were up
Right.
in Dayton. Remember the straight line winds that
Oh,
knocked
yeah.
down
Oh,
90%
God,
of our fence,
yeah.
and I don't know how many
Yes.
trees. We're all
Yep.
2 cats, 2 dogs,
Oh.
all 4 of us were all in that hallway downstairs.
I remember.
And it sounded like a freight train had taken on.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't think we're gonna have a roof.
Yeah, I
the way
remember
it
that.
sounded.
The
Well,
big,
that was
the
like-
big tree on top of the hill in the pasture, the main pasture that
Yeah.
got like ripped right out of the ground.
Yeah, there was a little
Yep.
girl their house collapsed on them, and she died in like 5 minutes from our house.
It was nasty.
Yeah,
It was
it
a
was-
terrible, terrible storm.
That was very bad.
So you do need to take them seriously.
Yes, you do. So Andy
If I
is
had
going
known
to
it
need to.
existed, I would have taken it seriously. But
Android users, here's another crowdsourcing thing. Android users, you have an Android, right?
yes, you can set your weather app to be an exception to Do Not Disturb. No, I'm not going to try to tell you how, because every phone is different and
Yeah.
every app is different, but there's ways to find out.
Well, that's just so weird because, like, every iPhone, it doesn't matter if you have weather apps or anything, like, every iPhone does the same exact thing anytime there's an emergency situation. If there's an Amber Alert, you get one, and then if there's severe weather, you get one. And it's just like,
Yeah.
pops up on your phone no matter what your phone settings
Yeah.
are or what you
Yeah, in
have.
Florida, we
mine
get
does
silver
that. It
alerts.
but it didn't happen. I actually, well, no, one did happen. A tornado watch happened at like 10 something, right before I went to sleep.
Yeah.
And that's the only one that happened.
Hello, sir.
Because I don't use Do Not Disturb.
Huh.
So, I don't know. Ollie in the chat says to try Bridging Incorporated.
I already tried.
Oh, there you go.
Don't take it.
I already tried. They don't take
I already
it.
tried. I
one
emailed them
takes
yesterday.
Anything.
Nope, they don't take they don't take any baby items.
Yeah, most places don't. I don't know why.
Nope.
Probably because of the liability.
Probably,
I'm
yes.
guessing something happens, they install it wrong or something, and
Yep.
then everyone's sued.
No,
so.
just Bridging doesn't take any baby items at all.
Yeah, a lot of places don't, like I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's like, it must have something to do with, like, because babies, get some bacteria on
Yeah,
the
poop
toy,
everywhere
and then
whatever.
Bring it to
But
your
it's like-
park with a free sign on it and leave it.
I've thought about like leaving it
Honestly-
at the end of our driveway, but like our driveway, like we don't get hardly any through
Yeah.
traffic.
to the playground.
we
There might
leave
be
stuff
some
on our
lines.
at the end of our driveway all the time, and we don't have a lot of through traffic. Someone takes it,
Yeah,
no matter
maybe.
what it is. I put an archery target that I've had 15 years. I was just like, I'm sick of this thing. I'm going to put it out by the end of the driveway. Someone took it.
Well, and Bloomington has you just like
A rummage sale kind of thing.
no, it's why
Buy
can't I?
nothing.
No, stop saying things.
Buy everything?
I already put it on the Buy Nothing group, and no one has taken it. No, Bloomington has like you can put almost anything at the end of your driveway on a certain day.
Oh, yeah, we have that.
And the pickers come through.
And the
Yeah.
pickers come through,
Yeah.
and then they take it to the recycling center, and anything that they can recycle or use, like the city sorts through it all, and then they throw away whatever they can't reuse. But I'm like, I wonder when that's happening, because truly, if no one will take
Yeah,
this
for
thing,
real.
then at least like the wood could be reused. I don't know. I'm like, I just don't want this going to the landfill
I
because it's
know.
a
I know, I hate that.
perfectly good, very nice changing table.
Moby says Salvation Army will take baby items for their women's shelters.
The Salvation Army.
Apparently.
Is it, but large baby items? Because there are
Large
places
baby,
that
yeah.
will take baby items, but not large baby items.
God.
No, you can't get rid of a
Why don't you
crib.
call them right now, see if you can get them on the phone, Andy?
Yeah.
Call the Salvation
Thrilling.
Army.
Here,
Yeah.
I'll look.
Everybody.
Salvation.
Well, I know the Salvation Army in downtown Minneapolis. I donated some of my dad's stuff when Grandpa died, and they took stuff that a lot of other places wouldn't take,
What
like
wills?
furniture and stuff, because the Goodwill, unless it's in pristine condition, and his stuff wasn't bad because I was only a few years old. He only lived for about 3 years in the Glen.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was in good shape, but they just didn't want to take certain things because they were just too full of very nice furniture.
It is
Apparently,
true.
Goodwill
Every Goodwill you
is
go
very
to,
picky.
they're all very stocked up with stuff.
Yeah,
And,
they
I
don't
mean,
want
there's
to. They don't
stuff
even want
out
to
there.
scratch. They don't even want to scratch. They don't fix anything anymore. They just
Well, no, they don't
get rid
fix.
of it.
They just sell.
They
but
just sell.
I don't know. It's like,
But the Salvation Army is definitely less picky.
Okay, I'm looking at what they do take. But then there's also things that it's like, this isn't clear enough if they will or will not take it. Like,
yeah. Best thing you can do is give them a call, I
Take it
suppose.
down there and
no, I'm not going to take it down there. I'll call them or email them or something because I'm like, we have a Salvation Army not far from our house.
Why not convert it
And
into
that would be
Lazy
easy.
Susan?
I'm just like, it's such a nice, I don't know why anyone, I think it's maybe because it has to be secured to a dresser. Like you can't just put it on there. That's why people don't want to take
That is kind of a
it.
specialized item, yeah.
But I'm like,
Charlie
this
says
is-
try a consignment shop. I know
Ooh.
consignment shops will take basically anything. They'll
Maybe-
buy it for pennies, but they'll still take it and they'll still resell it.
Once
I
Upon a
don't-
Child has things like that, I think.
Once Upon a Child, you can try, but they never want to buy anything. We used to go to Once Upon a Child.
we'll give it
I was
to 'em.
actually just saying this in the chat.
They
We
don't
used to
take-
go.
They don't take donations.
Oh.
No, we used to go to Once Upon a Child to sell stuff because we always have stuff to get rid of, or
Right.
had at least. We've been better about it because we don't buy anything anymore. We used to go there to try and like sell their old clothes and stuff, and every time we went there, they were like, "Nope, we're not buying anything anymore. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, but we're all done buying today."
It depends on the Once Upon a Child that you go to, because some of them, like the one in St. Louis Park, is very small
Yes,
and
it's
very
minuscule.
packed of
Yeah.
It is
stuff.
really packed.
I don't even ever go to that one anymore. I used to when my kids were little because it's like on the way here.
Yep, me
and
too.
I was like, oh, easy. But I don't like going there because they never take anything. They never whatever.
Yeah.
But like the Eden Prairie one is very nice, and like they buy stuff from me all the time. I mean, I don't have stuff to sell them really anymore.
Yeah.
But every time I have, they take a lot of stuff.
Try that
And
place.
Shakopee.
Oh, here we go.
Shakopee takes a lot of stuff.
Guiding Star Wakota, whatever that is, that looks like they graciously accept baby everything. It looks like swings, strollers, high chairs, bouncers. So there's another one. Guiding Star Wakota.
How do you spell Wakota? Like Dakota, but with a W?
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct. They'll even take lotion and formula if it's new. It's
Yeah,
most-
there are places that will take like all sorts of things if they're new.
They won't accept beds and cribs, but and used breast pumps.
Yeah, nobody, because that's considered medical equipment.
Yes.
For heaven's
But there you
sakes.
go.
Okay.
This
I
has
have a
been
couple.
the Getting Rid of Alex's Changing Table podcast.
Yes.
Watch, I'll come back tomorrow. None of them will take it.
This will be a saga for the next month and a half.
probably true.
Probably. Okay. I'm getting
Getting the info.
I'm getting a little
Need to
list
take a
of
break?
things.
Where the hell is Bob?
I don't know. We're gonna have to
Bob?
We're gonna have to replace Bob. He's always late. I'm serious.
Bob, where
He
the
never
hell are
shows
you?
up anymore.
He shows up literally every single time.
Yeah,
at
15
least.
minutes late.
Well, 16 minutes ago, he said I can't call in until about 11:40 or 11:15.
No, it's 11:18.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not working. I love Bob, but
Well,
he's
we have-
always busy.
We have stuff to talk about. It's not like we have a
We've been
shortage
talking.
of things to discuss. I went to a wedding on Friday. That was delightful. I love a wedding so much.
We took Sage golfing.
We took Sage
I
golfing.
I gave him the little speech about how he had to listen and he had to
Yep.
hustle. Otherwise, we were going to have to maybe not go ever again. And he's like, he hustled and he was really good about all the rules. And he had on hole 9, he had a great shot.
Oh, he's been telling everybody
Oh,
about it.
it
He's
was
been
a great
telling
shot.
Everybody about it.
Oh, it was
He
amazing.
was about, 100 yards out?
About 100 yards out, and
80?
he put it to about 8 feet.
Yeah.
He missed the putt, sadly.
Oh,
But
I think he was too excited to make the
he
putt.
was so, it just was like, oh my God, that was like the greatest
a
shot.
beautiful shot.
Landed right on the green.
Yep.
I got him to slow down because he was doing the try to whack it as hard as you can thing, which
Oh,
never
yes.
works for golf.
Right.
No.
I was like, slow swing and it'll go farther, I promise you. He's like, I don't think so. And then about the lining up.
Oh, yes. That takes patience, which is not easy.
One time he almost was lined up right into a pond, and
Yes.
I found him. But he did listen. He's coachable.
He is.
Oh, he
coachable.
loves, so at the end of each school year, the elementary school age kids get awards from their teachers about, like superstar reader, math expert,
Oh, yeah.
like kind of thing. Sage got directions expert
Directions expert.
because he just loves being told, like, okay,
Takes orders well.
Here's what you need to do, and this is how you do it. He's like, yep, great, awesome. Like, he loves a task.
He does.
He loves
Ethan is
following
like that
through
too.
on a task.
Ethan doesn't do free form well. He just gets overwhelmed and starts turning into the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah. How was your time with Ethan and Colin yesterday?
It
What'd
was
you guys
great.
do?
We
Oh, he had a good time.
ended
Yep.
Ethan ended up in the splash fountain thing in Wayzata,
He sure did.
which I was told he wasn't going to do.
Well,
So I brought Jude. Which
well,
was-
we were telling him
can't
on
do
our way
that.
there. It's like we don't have a change of clothes for you. You're just going to have to be in wet clothes for hours after you do this. And he was like, okay.
He loves
And he
that
was.
splash
He was
pad.
wet for like probably 2-3 hours.
And then
and-
he went down to the beach playground, and that had flooded, so there were a bunch of big, hot
There sure
rain
were.
puddles
Yep.
all
There
over the
were,
place
it's
that the
true.
kids were all splashing around in. I was like, hopefully that's not full of
I know.
bacteria.
Leishmaniasis.
Oh, by the way, so Sage fell down at the playground, and he
broke his
got a
crown?
slight abrasion on his knee.
Yes.
Fawn told him to rub dirt in it.
Yes.
Sure.
So
So
rub
I
dirt
would
in
I
it.
would tell her to not tell him to do that
No.
anymore.
It was the
like, rub
worst
some
thing
dirt.
to
She's like,
rub
well,
in
that's what I do. I'm like, well, we're trying not to get tetanus, so maybe don't rub dirt in your bloody wound.
Good
All
times.
right. Well, we should probably take our break here, don't you think?
I think so.
See if Sandy shows
Maybe
up or not.
Bob will
He,
show
he
up.
said he's got a good reason he's going to tell us all about.
Ooh, a good
Uh-oh.
reason.
Oh,
Maybe
boy, oh,
some
boy.
fantastic news.
I'd
is
like to hear.
happening.
If you have good news, I'd love
Or maybe he
to hear.
doesn't have any power.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe,
That
honestly.
might be true.
I don't know if it went north like that, but maybe.
No, it didn't really go very
No,
far
Buffalo
north.
there was something.
Oh,
I
yeah?
read something about Buffalo
Oh,
was,
geez.
yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back. Hopefully, Sandy will show up at that time. For Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. Michael, what's up?
Dealing with another case where a person gave a statement to the adjuster because they thought the person was really friendly.
Is that a good idea?
Well, the problem is they know the law when they call you up. And while you're trying to be fair and you're trying to get help, the reality is there are questions you get asked that the way you answer them make a big difference. And people put themselves in trouble. And when they aren't in trouble, they didn't do anything wrong. But suddenly the adjuster's got a statement that can blow up their case completely.
What has caused people to be so untrustworthy, I guess is the best way I could put it? They take advantage.
Well, insurance companies have hired adjusters whose job it is to deal with unrepresented people. So they're supposed to kind of lure them in, call them every day, see how they're doing, and people are like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. Where the reality is they've kind of adjusted to their problem that they've got going on. So it's not that they're completely better, but the way they say it gets to be a problem. And that's why having somebody who can explain your rights, represent you, make sure that you understand the law before you give a statement can make a big difference in your case.
Michael Bryant, Bradshaw and Bryant. Let us talk about my bank. That'd be North American Banking Company with Bill Ski. Look, it's easy to feel like just another account number at the big national banks, but that's not how it works with my friends at North American Banking Company. Whether you're visiting their locations in Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, or Maple Grove, you'll always find real people who know you by name and actually care about your finances. Not some AI chatbot. They also offer all the modern conveniences you expect, like online and mobile banking, but with a personal touch that only a community bank can offer. So, why settle for less when you can bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Visit nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Remember we were complaining about all the road closures?
Yes.
Well, now they're closing the I-394 reversible easy pass lanes for 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah. There you go.
2 years.
Huh.
It's a 2-year construction project. Delays could be significant.
Right. Perfect.
Well, and they also
Sure.
have 55, which is the other east-west
Yep.
highway.
That's
all
blocked
closed.
off. It's all blocked off.
So I don't know how you're going to get anywhere anymore.
Well, you can just go down,
I guess we'll just stay
you
out
drive
west.
down to like Litchfield and then cut across. That'd be perfect. Sandy, what is the buzz with you?
Well, I tell you what, you mentioned about these closures on Saturday. Didn't know they had 494 closed. My son and I, we were going to a place to get, he wanted to get a cowboy hat, and they have boots. Great place, by the way. They got a lot of selection. But anyway, we had to take the frontage road basically from like before France Avenue all the way down to Portland.
Yeah, American Boulevard.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
That. But not only was that closed, parts of 94 were closed going
Yep.
east-west. Who are the dimwits for MnDOT who schedule everything to close at the same
I
time?
know.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
unbelievable.
Yeah, you wonder
And the
why they
roads
can't
aren't
like
that bad.
stagger
What's that?
these closures. It's like, close
It'd be
one
nice.
east-west at one point. Maybe do the 2-year 394 closure after 55 is open.
It probably has something to do with the feds gave some money towards
Most
some
likely.
road
Well, because
stuff, and
394
they gotta
is
spend it
technically
quick.
federal property
Yeah.
because it's a
Yeah.
interstate. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess technically maybe we didn't have the choice. Maybe the feds were like, you got to close
You
it
know
now.
what? then you appeal it and say we need more time.
Yeah.
You know, because we don't want to have everything shut down at once. But you know what? This is not new with MnDOT.
No.
The things
No,
and these
yeah.
damn roundabouts. Why do we have so many of them? I hate them.
There's
You
a
hate
lot of
'em?
roundabouts.
We like the roundabouts.
I don't mind
It
roundabouts.
means you don't have to stop.
What?
Got to go fast.
You don't
Why?
have to stop. You don't have all of that ridiculous stopping.
Yeah, but you got a lot of craziness because some people are too impatient and they come right in when they're not.
Oh, they
supposed
sure
to.
do.
Yeah,
That's where you
so-
blast your horn and give them the finger.
That's
And
what I
then-
do.
Well, the thing about the stop signs I'm noticing a lot more of lately is that people will pull up to a stop sign and then you pull up to a stop sign and then they just sit there and you're like, okay, are you going to go? You were clearly here before me, but then they just never go.
No,
I
they're
don't-
on their phone.
Yeah, that probably is right, but
That's what you just-
it's making stop signs
Or they roll through them.
take 10 times longer than they need to because you're just like you inch forward and then they inch forward because they realize they need to go and then they panic because you inched forward. It's like I'd rather just go in a roundabout, and if they're bad drivers, they'll just flip their car. It's not my problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Sands for your sports, brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. So, what was the big news? Catherine said you had some
Andy.
brouhaha, or Andy
What?
said.
No, it wasn't news. That's why I wasn't on at 11 because I'd scheduled an interview for 12, and apparently the guy called me at 11, so I had to, I had to get that done. So that was the thing. And by the way, Alex, it looks like you have strawberry ears on.
It
Yes,
does.
she has strawberry ears
I do.
Chef
and
Alex.
horns.
Yep.
No, they're ears, Dad. I'm
No, on the top of your head, you got two more that look like little bunny ears.
Well, that's what it
Well,
was.
that's what I meant. The ears. Yeah,
M-I-C-K-E-Y.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the ones that the root raspberries that are hanging from each ear.
Those are
Your
earrings.
rings.
Those are earrings.
Oh,
yeah.
those are earrings. Okay, I see.
Yes.
Okay.
That's an interesting choice for your backdrop.
Yeah, it really
Well,
is.
Fawn made waffles today.
been a waffle
and
theme
It's
this
been a
morning.
waffle thing. Yes.
A lot of waffly things. So, Bob, is the Twins season over yet? Because it needs to be.
Been over for a while. They gave you that little bit of a tease by winning 3 in a
Yep.
row, and then
Yep.
yesterday, the guy this kid, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball, if not the best in the AL. They got Tariq'd, 13 strikeouts in 7 innings, 1 hit against him. They had 2 total. Pathetic. Why? You know what? You need to join a book club and read instead of watching the Twins.
I gotta
This
do
is
something.
crazy.
I got to do something because there's such a. And look, when's the last time you heard me go after the Poe lads for the Twins? About 20 years ago? Maybe even 30 years ago? Everybody in town now is going after the Poe lads, but when I went after them, nobody else would. And so the Poe lads hate my guts because of that.
No, that's because winning was kind of, not that distant.
No,
See-
it's very distant now.
It's very distant now.
Well, but
yes.
now you're going after the 3rd generation of Pohlad.
Yeah.
So the that layer in the middle, which was upset when you went after Carl, is now upset 'cause you're going after either A, their son, or B, their nephew. So you know what? It's pathetic what Joe Pohlad has done. What he's run this team into the ground. And Dave St. Peter, I don't know if they shoved him out or Dave retired on his own, but he should have stayed in control of that team.
Yeah,
No longer is
They've
involved.
got some good talent on that team. I don't know.
some, not
Yeah.
much.
Well, but you got the Iron Man, Byron Buxton. I mean, he's been playing pretty good.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the time when he doesn't get hurt is he puts up numbers, but it doesn't matter
Yeah.
because the rest of the team just sucks.
Yeah, it's so amazing to me that, seriously, honest to God, I to this day still hear stories about people that have done things to me because I went after Carl Pohlad. They were friends of the Pohlads, but I didn't know it. So they did things to me just to harm me. So, look, Pohlads, I haven't gone after them in forever. Now everybody else is doing it. Why don't you go after them? What the hell?
People can hold a grudge. I remember somebody
Oh,
new
it's
moved into our
unbelievable.
neighborhood when we lived in Edina, and I said hi to them, and they were like, "So it's Tom. You're married to Tom Bernard, right?" He's like, "Yeah." My son is still mad at him about something he said about Kirby Puckett 20 years ago.
There
He's
you
never
go.
gotten over it. I'm like, well, okay.
There you have it.
Way to heal.
Kirby Puckett was a great baseball player, not an immaculate human being. It's the best way to put it.
He was he was flawless in the field, flawed off it.
Off it.
Well,
yes,
but that's what I mean.
true.
People like their heroes, and they don't want to hear anything against their heroes. You know, they
This
just
is
don't
very
want to believe
true.
it. Same. I mean, look what's happening. You know, politics is a perfect example.
And who's my hero? Kent Herbeck. You ever hear him doing anything
He's
wrong?
perfect.
He's a perfect human being.
He's very-
Herbeck, I know you're listening.
he is
You're
a
a
very
perfect
nice
human being.
person, that's
He's a
for
great
sure.
guy.
Perfect as the
He is.
day is long.
Perfect as the day is long. Look, Roy Smalley,
He's
great
bohemian.
guy.
He's got to be good.
I had nothing against Kirby Puckett, but he did things that I just.
You know how when you take a step back, because he always believed he would never hit 50, and he was right.
Yeah, he was right. Yeah.
Now, some of that might have been choices in lifestyle, but
Maybe.
he lived what he felt was the life he had. He squeezed a lot into the time he had.
He did. No question. You know, that team, looking back at that team with the Herbecks and the Roy Smalleys, and you go down the whole list, Timmy Laudner was on that team. There are a lot of really good guys on that baseball team.
On the 87 team, yep.
87 team, yeah. And some still left over in the 91. The only two that Kirby Puckett I never had any problem with him. He didn't like it that I would go after him, but I didn't like the way he treated some people. It was not very nice.
Well, he certainly wasn't, or his fans and sycophants hated me and I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But I had to write the other side of Kirby Puckett.
Yeah.
You know, the dark side that the one that came after his wife with a chainsaw, the one who threatened to shoot her, and all these allegations she made.
Really? He did all that?
against him.
Yikes.
And I also talked to a guy who was a private investigator hired by Tanya, who followed him for like a day, one day into the next, and he stopped at he had like a dozen women who he'd stop at, and he had the whole sailor thing about the woman in every port. There was at least one woman in every town. It sounds.
Oh my God!
Don't you get dehydrated? Dehydrated.
Dehydrated.
Thanks.
Well,
He should have been
frowns.
doing Gatorade commercials. Because he was
Jeez.
very dehydrated.
Wow.
No,
He lived
you
his
know,
life.
It's really sad though, because Bob, and I do want to bring this up to you because you probably got this dialed in. For the Minnesota Twins, if you want to watch every one of the games on TV, you have to have four
Yeah.
different.
Now you have to have four suddenly.
So here's my confusion, Dad. They're bad and difficult to watch. So why are you doing it?
Because I remember the very
out
first
hope.
day I went to Met Stadium, and I thought it was heaven, and I have loved the Twins ever since.
It's hope,
That's a fact.
being hopeful.
I remember a lot of great things from my childhood that I look back at, and I'm like, actually, that wasn't that great.
Well, this was
Like
that.
lunch-
There's
Lunchables.
so many things that I don't know. I feel like I have an easier time just like disconnecting from like things and people and stuff. If I'm just like, meh,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like this
You
anymore.
get that from me.
Yeah.
I just move on.
Yes.
Now that heaven you
more
once knew
nostalgic.
alternates between purgatory and hell.
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly right.
I don't know. Like Vikings. I used to be a huge Vikings fan. Now I don't really care. I'll go to a Vikings game if somebody's like, want to go? I'd be like, sure. I don't watch Vikings games ever.
No.
I'm like, they're not fun to watch.
Why do you like?
I don't
Why
know.
would you go to a game? Because I mean, I've gone once in the stands. It was last year because my wife was a Vikings cheerleader. They had an alumni thing. I hated it.
Yeah.
It's
Because
very
I
loud.
mean, the best place to watch football is in front of your TV.
No doubt.
And if you have a big screen, that's even better. Take whatever money you have you're putting toward your season ticket to buy yourself the biggest screen you can fit on your wall, and you'll have a much better experience. Have some friends over.
Going back quickly to my reference, I think I didn't check and see, but if you get all four channels that carry the Twins game, some do Monday through Thursday, then there's a Friday channel, then there's a Saturday channel, and then there's a Sunday channel.
Yep.
And if you get them all, it costs you literally something like $2,000 a year to watch the
much are they-
Twins now.
How many of those do you pay directly to the Twins, or they're all subsidiaries who pay? They wind up paying the Twins for the rights.
Well,
guess.
what's amazing about that is they say, oh, so if you end up breaking it down, it comes out to much less than buying a ticket to the games.
No, it does not.
$2,000 if
Well, if you're going to every game.
well, or even probably half the games. I'm sure it's way less.
But still, it used to be free.
I know, but that's not the way the world runs
No,
anymore.
not anymore. That's very, very
Everything's
true.
a money grab.
Money makes the world go round, the world go round, the
Oh,
world
boy,
go
look
round.
at the time.
I saw Cabaret on Thursday at the Guthrie. It was
I
great.
see a little kid walking behind you. Is that okay? Or should
No,
I-
he's
they're
not
not
supposed to be
supposed to
doing
be.
that, but he does it every episode.
He
You
went
try
to get
He just went to get headphones so we could hear what we're saying.
Yes.
Yes. he wasn't-
Sage is an imbecile. Did you hear that one?
Okay, let's maybe not
Nice.
say words like
Nice,
that they'll
Papa.
say again.
No, he will not say that. He's my buddy. Aren't you and I are buddies now, aren't we, Sage?
Now.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Only see, that's why I asked him.
Children
now.
are fickle.
Fawn and I are still pals.
Right now,
No, not anymore.
Right now, Ethan
No.
likes me more than Bop Bop, which for the longest time it was Bop Bop,
Yep.
and he couldn't care less if I
Yep.
ran away.
Lived or died.
The other day we were talking.
That'll happen.
We were watching something and someone mentioned their best friend, and Ethan's like, "I have a best friend," and I'm like, "You do? Who is it?" And he said, "Mom and Dad."
Mom and Dad, my best friends.
That's
For now, yes, you're
sweet.
probably not wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
But
That's
give
true.
it another 2-3 years, and
Weird.
not anymore.
Well, and Ethan's never cared if I lived or died, so it's never been in his favor.
Ethan,
No.
He just wants to do his own thing, but
He
he wants to
does.
have someone near him while he does it, basically.
Yep, that's true.
Wait until they're all in that 15, 16 range.
Yeah.
Good luck with all.
Oh, we're
puberty
already
years.
starting with Miss Fawny, who's
different
only
deal.
9, who doesn't want to sit with you anymore, doesn't want to be at the same table as you anymore.
She's a
Table
tween.
All
Big
of a
shock.
sudden, yep, she's tweeny pants.
Yeah, she's tweet
That won't-
and the pet.
Oh, boy, look at the time,
Okay.
Bob. You got any closing words, Sandy?
Go Twins.
Yeah.
And take the,
Yeah.
take,
They've already
take
gone
the Vikings
straight
with
to
you.
purgatory and
The
hell.
Twins have gone.
They have how many days? They're in third place, I know, but aren't they about 15
12 and a
games
half.
back?
Why don't
12
you
and a
pick
half
an
back.
alternate team
Yeah.
to like?
I can't do that.
Yes,
I-
you
The Dodgers or the
can't do it.
Tigers.
Can't do it.
Pick a winner.
Yeah, pick a winner.
I went with the Anderson family, and it was heaven, and I'll never forget it.
How
9
about
years old.
They make a tri-state area team called the Triplets.
There you go.
The Twins and the Triplets. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Or
Could
how
be a
about,
triplet
how about
fan.
that one place where you can be in 4 states at once? They could be the quadruplets.
Oh, the Quad Cities.
Quad Cities.
Yeah, like that. There's like a monument where you can put your hands in 2 states and your feet in 2 states or whatever. Isn't that what?
I think that's the Quad Cities, isn't it?
Is it?
I think so, yeah.
Quad cities? That doesn't.
I believe so. I don't
Yeah,
know. if
something
it
like
is.
that. I'm too busy watching Alex telling the mouthing to the kids to knock it off.
To knock
Well,
it
no,
off.
Yeah.
Sage is trying to
What are
put
they
on a
doing?
pair of headphones that aren't plugged into anything, and they're not
Yeah, I need to
Bluetooth
take the headsets out of
headphones,
there.
And we just need to not have them in here anymore.
Yes.
Well,
I
I
don't
left
know.
them in there because I didn't know if you would like the lavaliers, but they seem to be working
They're
fine.
working fine.
Fine. They're noisier then, because it's like
Yeah, but
anytime you touch it, I'm like, oh, sorry.
I'm gonna get a new
An
new
apple
set of
there, you
them.
Jude.
Poor Jude.
Judy.
All right, Sandy, we will talk to you next week.
All right, and I don't think I have anything scheduled at 11.
We will not
I
talk to
know.
any
Not
him
next
next
week.
week.
That's right. We're
All
on
right,
next
we're
week.
on
You're off.
we're on vacation next week. I forgot.
Yes.
You can
that's right, you
schedule
always do that.
anything you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do anything.
Oh, by the way, just a quick thing. I actually, along with our royalty and the Grand Marshal of the Delano 4th of July Parade, the Buffalo Rodeo has that honor this year.
Pardon me.
Nice.
You know when the Delano, that parade, the first year it was held?
No.
You got to, I was stunned by it.
1650.
1857. You're not that far off.
1857.
Pre-Civil War was
Wow.
the first 4th of July
That's
parade.
I
amazing.
didn't even know anybody was up here.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah, you'd think of like a bunch of trappers
Yeah, what are you-
shooting foxes.
Having
Yeah.
a parade.
Okay.
All right, Sandy, we'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
right. Living for it. All right, we'll see you.
Thanks, Bob.
Bye.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to me, your customers are listening to me, and they're going to hear me promote your business and what's going to happen. The Tom Bernard Podcast attracts thousands of listeners who are loyal, engaged, and ready to support businesses they trust. Our podcast has helped numerous businesses increase traffic, sales, and brand recognition. We're not just about ads, we're about results. Whether you're a local business or a national brand, we offer custom advertising packages designed to fit your unique needs and goals. Our audience spans multiple demographics, allowing you to target your ideal customers with precision, from millennials to baby boomers and everyone in between. With the broad reach of the show and passionate following, your business will see increased visibility and awareness, translating into more customers and sales. All right. Any closing words from the folks?
Buddy on the podcast heard me talking about my changing table and is taking it.
They're taking it?
I got a
there you
message
go.
on
See how effective
Facebook
we
about
are?
how somebody wants to take it, and it was like after I said it.
There you
And so they
go.
must have found me, and they're taking the changing
Nice.
table.
Well,
So see, I told you. I was like, this is why.
Table.
The changing?
The one that you
only-
were changed in.
Yeah.
Many years
Actually,
ago.
Sage, you were probably changed on that thing like maybe twice.
this
It
will
was
sh-
my changing table.
I changed you on the floor more than anything.
Yeah, I
changed it.
remember
That
having
was
to
my
basically
changing
tie
Oh, little elbow to
Sage
the
down
face.
to change his
He
diaper.
was like a gator.
Yeah, he did not like it.
Jude,
Yeah.
get out of there.
We have this like special setup near our bed. We got like a table and we got like this changing pad thing. And we were like, oh, you know, when Colin wakes up in the middle of the night, little changing table.
No.
We used it for like a month and we were like, just do it in bed. I
Yeah,
don't care.
on the bed,
Yeah.
100%.
Whatever,
Like,
doesn't
what?
matter.
Poop on the bed.
Definitely doesn't.
We just got to be careful,
Put
that's all.
a whatever it's called down, changing pad down.
That's, yeah, basically what we ended up doing.
You're going to have to
easy
thank your brother for that sale, you know, or giveaway.
Actually, it's me because I brought it up on the podcast, and I think
No,
the person
but-
was listening to the podcast.
Because your brother has more than tripled our audience in the last month.
It's my
It's
responsibility.
his responsibility. More than
Speaking
tripled
of-
our audience in the last month.
Speaking of giveaway,
Oh yeah,
Giveaway.
giveaway.
yes, we are going to do the drawing for the Jack's Cafe giveaway now.
Oh,
And the winner is at Urban Coach.
Urban Coach.
So if your
okay.
name is at Urban Coach, probably not your real name, but maybe
Probably
you never
not.
know, I suppose.
No, Sage, stop.
I will try to DM Urban Coach, and
There you go.
if I can't, and you're listening, you've won. So give us an email,
I like it.
and then I'll put up
Yay.
I'll put up the next tweet in like I don't know, half an hour, something like
What
that.
are we going to do when we have a break? Just not have a drawing?
I have been mulling that over because we're also not going to be on Thursday and Friday this week.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
going to be a
Right.
very short week. So I don't. Maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Bill at Jack's if he'd be okay if we did like a $300 3-week giveaway.
When we come
like it.
back.
If we could do that, then I think that would be pretty popular.
I think that's a
Yeah,
great
that'd be-
idea.
Yeah, so I'm going to email him about that, see what he thinks.
That's a good
and
idea. I think.
yes,
We'll get
indeed.
that done. We'll definitely get that done, Andy.
We will do what we can.
All right, we will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.